In the last video, I got my $800 E36 reassembled and running. This video is all about how it drives, or rather, if it drives.
Well, it's running. It took some work, but the engine actually sounds really good.
At the end of the last video, I addressed some coolant leaks and got the car started. In this video, I pick up where I left off. All right, let's see if any coolant has leaked out. It's been, I don't know, a couple days. And I think I'm good, because that is much higher than it should be. So I'm going to bleed it a few times and take it for its first drive, because I went ahead and registered it because I want to drive it a good bit. If I decide to sell it, I'd feel much better selling it after driving it so much. So wish me luck. Just like the manual and the internet said, I cracked it and some more bubbles did come out. So I think I'm just gonna run it again, because the instructions say to fill it up to the cold line, and I think I'm there. I also didn't see any new puddles underneath, so I'm gonna start it up, check the lights, put the tags on, and go for a ride. Problems, more problems. So I backed it out and now it won't go into drive. So I may have to back it back in. I'm gonna have to leave the car tonight. The engine sounds good, but troubleshooting the transmission wasn't in the cards for tonight. But transmission work was in the cards for the next few weeks. Yeah, weeks. Okay, I'm back with the E36 and I'm optimistic about today. Maybe a long shot, but I'm forever hopeful. I bought a part that may fix the issue I'm having. And the part I ordered is something called a range switch. Actually, I didn't order just the range switch. I ordered an entirely new shifter. But the part that I thought was malfunctioning was the range switch. It's what tells the transmission computer what gear you're in, reverse, drive, 1, 2, 3, whatever. So I had to remove the trim to access it, disconnect any connections and linkages that connected the shift lever and range switch to the actual transmission, take out the old one, install the new one, reconnect everything, and then I got to test it. Let's try this again. All right, that's reverse. Oh no, that's drive. Still no drive. Wait a minute. No drive. All right, back to the drawing board. So after making sure that any fuse associated with the transmission was good, the next line of action was a full transmission service. All right, I'm still trying to get this E36 to drive forward. And where I'm at now is I am going to drain the transmission fluid and check out the shift solenoids, because them being seized or failing, not working, could cause what I'm having. So let's get to it. Very rarely do I not spill a drop when draining something. So I'm gonna let this drain until I get home from work. So it is gonna drain all day long. Man, wish me luck tonight. FCP, usually fantastic. Not mad at them. But I ordered a transmission seal kit for automatic transmissions for the E36. They included everything but the seals and the bolts. I was later informed that the kit pictured here does not include the bolts, but I was still missing the seals. I was hoping to attempt to drive this thing tonight, but the most I can do is take off the oil pan and replace the shift solenoids. But yeah, I can't reinstall the pan because the seals aren't here. So this transmission has been draining for 2 days and it's still dripping a little bit. Let's see if the pan just comes right off. And it doesn't. I'm gonna need to pry it with something. All right, let's see if I can get it off now. Well, got it off. It got messy in the process. Okay, let me go clean up a little bit. Ugh. So I'm gonna let that drip for a little while too. I came prepared with a big tray to put down and still spilled a lot of fluid. And I'm gonna do my best to clean that up. I only have a few rags here, but I'll get them as soaked as I can. Well, since I'm down here making a mess, might as well take off this one too. So with this one, I'm gonna have the tray ready and make sure I am out of the way. Only a little better. It splashed on me, but it's off. And it's mostly draining into the tray. All right, so they're not dripping as much as they were. But these gaskets, I hope they come off in one piece. And they mostly are. Mostly, I say. That's one. And that's two. If I had more rags and could clean up where I'll be laying tonight to work on these, I would attempt to remove the shift solenoids. I believe there are 4. Could be wrong. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And luckily the surfaces of the gaskets aren't that bad. So I'm gonna go home, clean up, and bring back some blades and tons of rags to clean up this mess I made. And then, oh yeah. I will be replacing this too. This is the transmission filter. Looks like a bolt there and a bolt there and there. Now that it's open, it doesn't look that bad to do. So it's another night, a couple nights later. I have some time to work on it. So I'm gonna take off this filter. All right, let's see how messy this is gonna be. Not as messy as the other sections. And while that's off, I do have a better look at these shift solenoids. 1, 2, 3, I don't know if you can see this one over here. If the shift solenoids are my problem, it's likely not all of them, but I don't know which one it is. So I have it open. I'm gonna replace all of them. Unfortunately, the ones I ordered are all like this. So I'm gonna go back to the drawing board and see if I can just order parts to replace all of them. So I guess that's where I'm gonna end tonight. So the next chance I got to work on the E36, I started by removing the shift solenoids. And for the most part, they were straightforward. This one just comes off with this little bolt. More fluid. Ooh, a lot more fluid. Easy to replace, hard to find. I couldn't find one of those for sale, and BMW doesn't make them anymore, or GM doesn't make them anymore. So what I did was I ordered a whole new valve body from a known running car that includes all the solenoids that I'm dealing with. So I'll have multiples of these, and I'll have at least one of these that works, one of these that works, and one of those that works. I think this one comes off easy too. Likely more fluid. Yep. And it looks like slide that connector up on that one. And I do not know how this one comes out. I'll have to look at it a little more. And I am taking a big chance. I wonder if this is what's holding this in. I could be ruining the transmission. Uh-oh, let's see. This could be bad. Ha! Oh, sometimes you get lucky. So this one, uh-oh, and more fluid. Comes out like that. Goodness gracious. So I am going to leave now. I'm going to come back with vice grips to take off the 2 solenoids that I didn't get out. But I can go test the other ones with a 12-volt source like a battery. So I ordered a new valve body just so I could get all these solenoids for the automatic transmission. And I pulled the battery out of my Civic, got some test leads, and I wanted to test the new ones and compare them to the old ones to see if there were any differences. Now I can't see the actual action inside the solenoid, but I can feel it and I can hear it. So this one is a really strong action, and this is the one that was in the car. Now I hear it moving, but it is not as strong as an action as the other one. And notice some other differences. Look how much larger this one is. This is the one on the new one. This is the one that was in the car. And this one has these markings, and this one has these markings. So I don't know if this is OEM or original, but it's slightly larger, and just in my hand it feels like the action is stronger. So I'm going to put in all new ones, but I just wanted to let y'all know that I did some troubleshooting. I compared the other ones as well, but I didn't notice any difference. Supposedly they came from a running car. Or shall I say running and driving car. But I still haven't got these out. I think I still have the little pin in that one. So let's see if I can get it out with these vice grips. Yeah, it's coming. Nice, and I didn't deform the pin. Getting this back in is gonna be fun. It's longer than I thought. Looks like somebody's been in here at some point. Yeah, I may have to use a little bit of persuasion to get this little pin in. It's actually a little nail. All right, it doesn't want to go in straight, huh? So I was about to give up, but a little bit of patience and giving it another shot. I'm on my way to getting a pin in this pin such that I can grab it without it collapsing. The pin is almost back to its original round shape. I'm gonna see if I can pull it now. I can't tell if I'm moving it or not. It is moving. A little bit by bit. Well, I thought I was on my way, but the eaten up part of the little pin just pulled out. So I'll stick it all the way up and see if I can grab this little bit. I'm getting closer and closer to a manual swap. After tearing off a bit more of the original rod and fighting with it, finally got it moving. Same method as the old one. It's coming. Once I got it moving, it kept coming pretty good, but I was really about to give up. So tonight, I probably won't try and get it started, but I will try and replace all the solenoids and maybe try and put the pans on. But yeah, I got it out. So now these should slide up. Ooh. Oh gosh, more fluid no matter what I do. But you saw, they just pop out. Yeah, it was better with that one. All right, so now I'm gonna put the new one in. It's gonna take some persuasion, but this is how they go. Uh-oh, why don't you go in as easily? So according to the description, these solenoids were the same, but it appears that they're not. And since I did take all the other ones out, there are no others that look like this. Do I put in the old one or put in the low mileage one from the one I ordered off eBay? That's what I think I'll do. And it just hit me, I do not need to go get new pins. I have ones on the valve bite I got from eBay. So, you see the difference? I thought they were the same. Well, the description said they were the same. Yeah, see that one? Slides right in. Dadgummit, learned something new. So I got one off of the used valve body, but check it out. It has an issue. The question is, will that keep the pins from staying in? And I don't know, so let's see. No, it won't. So even though it is cracked, the pin will still be secure, and once it's in place, it's not going anywhere. So, damn, it's even hard to get out. So, makes me feel even better about it. But damn, that sucks. But anyway, I can now put this one in. Use the same trick I used on the other one. And it should just, there we go. Snap right in. And I got the pin out of the new one. So I can go ahead and knock these back in. Let's see if they go in easily. Oh yeah, they go in nicely. At least they start to go in nicely. Oh, come on. You don't need to cause any issues. All right, so these are in. I think the rest are pretty easy to put in. That looks like that's how that goes. Yep. And this last one is the one that is held in by a pin. This pin came from right here, and I imagine it lines up with that slot. So that's all I gotta line up. So I imagine it's like this. And it does have that little spring washer. That's what you call it, that I have to get in, and that's what keeps it in. So I'm gonna give it a few taps. Make sure it's bottomed out. There we go, and that's it. This is the only connector over here. And this thing keeps falling off, and I thought it'd be a good idea to tighten up these a little bit, and I made it a little harder for myself. I made them a little too tight, so they wouldn't go on, but now I finally loosen them up a bit such that they'll go on, but still make a really snug fit. All the new or newer solenoids are on, and I'm gonna go home because my wife wants to hang out. I'll be back. So between last night and this morning, I spent some time cleaning up any gasket material that was still on the bottom of the transmission surfaces. It was very little. That was good. So I wiped it down real good, cleaned out the pans, and now it's time to throw them back on. But first, I must put the filter back on. Just want to make sure this is nice and clean. So this is the new filter, and it goes a little something like this. And these get tightened to 15 foot-pounds. And for this small sump, I've seen different instructions. I've seen instructions that say just put both on and then fill it up. And then I've seen fill this pan, the pan that goes over this, with fluid, and then put it on here and tighten down. So unfortunately, I am gonna go with the one that says fill it up. So I'm gonna put some fluid in this pan, and then I'm gonna put it up there. This could be disastrous. And for the pans, I am putting some Loctite on all the bolts. On a list of things that would be easier with a lift, this is definitely one of them. Steady hands. Oh. Hope I didn't fill it up too much such that it overflows. All right, looking okay. Now I just gotta line up the holes. And the one bolt that I do have the Loctite on, and I think I have a stripped bolt right here, because it just, thankfully it's in an area that goes all the way through, but it won't torque. It's not good. Now this pan should be a little easier since I don't have to fill it up, but it is a bigger pan, so keeping all the holes aligned may be a problem. So I preloaded the corners with some bolts, and that seems to keep everything pretty aligned. Now I have not put the Loctite on those yet, but hopefully that'll help me get them started. It's already working better. I just pushed out some bolts, but I think the ones that stayed will help. All right, I think that'll work. All right, and the first one with Loctite. I don't even know if Loctite is absolutely necessary, but it was recommended, so I'm using it. Some of these holes still aren't lining up perfectly. So using my little pick to get them in line. All right, finally got them all on. I'm just gonna snug them all up and then torque them down. Oh, please tell me that I don't have another stripped one. In case you're wondering, yeah, this impact, it doesn't even put enough torque on. I mean, maybe if I rammed it hard, if you don't pull the trigger all the way, it'll stop before it strips these bad boys out. Yeah, so I think about 3 of the bolts on here are stripped. But it's not gonna stop me from trying to get this thing running. But yeah, I was just snugging them down, and some of them wouldn't snug down. So I'm gonna tighten the drain bolt and start filling it back up. Well, it's that time. I'm going to fill her up until it starts to come out. All right, so it's finally, I think it's finally starting to come out. Take this out, put the drain plug back in, start the car up. I would like to say it's doing something different than before, but I really won't know until I set it on the ground. So the transmission is still warm or hot. I'm gonna take this plug out. Nothing should come out right now. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna get back in the car, start it up, put the car in neutral. So this is the final top off. So I just did the final fill, which was the exact same process as the first fill, but it was once the transmission was warmed up in neutral while the car was running. I'm gonna clean up a little bit and then see if this thing will drive. Before I sit on the ground, I'm gonna do a quick sanity check. So when I put it in drive, it does go forward. I hope this works, man, because that was a lot of work. So I'm gonna start this thing up and see if it'll run. Unfortunately, my temporary registration ran out, and I don't like messing with the police. So if it works, you'll see me drive it out, drive it around the building, and then I'll park it. And then this week I'll register it and then drive it for real. Still doesn't work. I was disappointed, but I didn't give up. Apparently, the transmissions used in this car were also used in Isuzu Troopers of all things. And after consulting Beamer forums, someone replied that there was one more thing I could try with the transmission to see if I could get it to go into drive. So I had a new line of attack, but I had some threads to fix first. Sometimes you get lucky. I was about to take off this little sump, but the drill I'm gonna have to use to fix the thread actually fits in here. So I know it's in the right location and I don't have to take it off. So that's good. And on this one, there were only two that were messed up. So I'll take it. Well, I wasn't lucky. The tap is just slightly too big. I mean, it's going to remove a little bit of material, but I think it's going to be negligible. But for the amount of time it's going to save, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. It will be fine. Oh, it is just barely hitting the pan. It's working out all right. Let's just see if it goes in. Okay. Let's see. All right, let's see if I can put this in and it torque to spec. I think that feels good. So I will come back tonight when I do the rest and make sure everything is torqued to spec, but these look really good. After reading and getting some replies, I'm going to do the band adjustment, and that means I have to take the filter off again. So I'm going to go ahead and take it off. And if I remember correctly, more fluid came out when I did this. So I'm going to try and prepare. Let's see. Yes, there is fluid. Not a lot, but some. And I did get it all over my shirt again. But it does let me get to this. So I'm gonna take this cover off. Yep, it's all over the place. I just need the cover. Let me get my pan ready. All right, cracked it free. Thankfully, the little gasket stayed intact. And if the rumors are true, this is a T30. And it is. So I'm going to loosen this nut. I believe this is a 13. Well, it might be too thick of a 13. Okay, yeah, that 13 fits. So I'm gonna see if I can loosen this nut. Probably would have been easier with a socket, which I may end up doing. So now we can back this off. And here is the key moment. So I'm gonna tighten this down until I feel it touch. It's supposed to touch. All right, well, I think that is touching now. So I'm gonna get my torque wrench, which I have set to 40 inch-pounds. Okay, there it is, 40 inch-pounds. So now, come out 4 rotations. So now I'm right by this thing. I'm gonna come out 4 rotations. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now, without spinning the center, I gotta put this nut back on. Let's see. I moved it a little bit. I moved it right back to where it was. So now, I gotta tighten that. So that should be the adjustment. So hold this. Tighten that nut down. Alright, good and tight. That is a tight fit for that 14. Maybe it's not a 14 after all. Alright, here we go. Alright. That is nice and tight. So now I just put everything back together. This is indeed a messy job. Now, yeah, filter. I really hope this fixes it. So now, the job of putting the pan back on. Now, I've had two types of gaskets for this car, the rubber one and one that looks sort of like paper. And the rubber one actually does a good job of holding some screws in so you can get the gasket back up in there, tighten one down, and then it'll hold it and you can tighten the rest. So last time I got one tightened, but it knocked out the others as I was putting it up, but that was good enough. So I tightened the one, tightened some others, and then I was able to come back and put Loctite on the others. If I would have done it like this the first time, it would have been a lot easier. This could be disastrous. Wow, that was almost bad, but I got one in. All right, so now it's home free from here. Just tighten the rest down. I'm gonna throw Loctite on them, but yeah. So it is the next day, and all I have to do today is fill up the ATF, let it get the temperature while idling, and top it off again, and then I can see if it worked. It should be below this level. Yeah. Something I will do is see if there's a motorized pump. I have been doing a lot of pumping. Pump, pump. I feel like Joe Budden. And I have a new drain plug, but I'm not going to use it till the final fill. I'm going to say that's hot enough, because I assume it's hotter on the inside. Seemed like forever, but it's finally leaking out. And now the new plug gets to go in. Finally done. I'm neater, but I still make a mess when I do this. I don't have much space under there, but I'm excited. I really hope this does it. I've already sat the back down, so I'm gonna sit the front down and then go for it. So this is it, I'm trying it again. Last time this didn't work. Let's see what happens. The engine sounds good. Let's see how it goes. I'm rolling, baby. I'm rolling. I want to drive it home so bad, but it's not legal yet. The engine is nice and smooth, nice and quiet. So I'm going to pull it in front ways. I'm not going to back it in. All I had to do was adjust that band on the transmission. But at least I feel good. It has a lot of other new stuff. I'm gonna sleep good tonight, boy. That tent gotta go, all the windows work. Still got bits and pieces to put back together in here, but the car runs. So tomorrow I'll get my registration sorted out and we'll see. I'll button everything up and I'll list it for sale. If it doesn't sell, I'm just gonna enjoy it for a little while. Yeah, I'm happy. In the next video, I'll do shakedown drives, take care of some regular maintenance, and show you exactly how much I spent to get it running this way. If you'd like to follow along, hit subscribe. If you would like to see the things I did to get it to this point, check out the playlist. Thanks for watching. Take care.